Casey, could you keep it
What?
down? I said, could you keep it down? Whoa, buzz off my records, you heathen. Could you keep it down? My cats are trying to sleep in the next room.
Well, I'll have you know that their ears are being educated on what true music is.
They're cats.
Does it matter? I bet they're tired of listening to your hip-hop rap crap.
I listen to country.
Is it modern?
Kind of, sometimes. It's from like the 90s, 2000s.
Aha! You see, their brains and yours, mind you, have deteriorated thanks to god-awful music from, 20 years ago. What the hell is that? What is that?
What's what, my phone?
Oh, typical. You kids rely on your phones too much.
What the frick?
When I was your age,
You were born in 2004.
I believe in reincarnation, thank you very much.
You were probably sent this video by a friend or family member who is sick and tired of you whining and complaining about how awful today's modern day music is. Hi, I'm your worst nightmare. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to today's episode of You're Not Special. The show where I crush all the dreams of the 14-year-olds who truly believe that Justin Bieber's song Baby is the main cause of the downfall of the human race in 2020. Now, before you get on your high horse and beat me into the ground with your grandfather's cane passed down for 7 generations, I am a fan of classic rock. Right around 5th grade, I started listening to Queen and AC/DC and Van Halen and all those different bands. My parents put that music on all the time when I was a kid, ever since I was born. That's how I was conceived, basically. And my guitar teacher used to tell me that I was born in the wrong generation, which, by the way, never teach your children that. It causes this weird chemical in their brain to release that makes them believe that they're better than everybody else. I used to be one of those girls that shunned pop music. I would sport those 80s triangle glasses and neon clothing every single day when I was in middle school. I quit ballet after the first recital when I was 9 because I wanted to play guitar so I could be cooler than all the other girls in my school. I was not. Money well spent. Mom. You want to know what I was like in middle school? Huh? Look at that. That's an example. It's kind of self-explanatory. As of now, I have pushed that drama to the back of my mind, and I never listened to classic rock ever since. I'm kidding, obviously. Of course, I've still grown out of that hateful phase. I still hate country and I still hate hip-hop, but now I just learned to judge you silently as you blast out your car speakers at 3 in the morning. Middle school was freaking weird. You know, that awkward phase between learning how to read and learning how to drive. All your teachers are different. Your friends went to a different middle school. Your bus route changes. Suddenly you have to keep your binders in front of your chest like this, like Debbie Ryan from Radio Rebels. That time where your body kind of does that loop-de-loop and pull thing and suddenly you have boobs, you know what I'm saying? It's a hectic time for prepubescent kids. We start to look for distractions from class and we experiment with our fashion sense. Seriously, what was this? Everybody wore these. Why? Why? We were never a part of the popular kids. We only knew the popular kids. You would always see them in the gym or field playing capture the flag with their stupid Abercrombie and Fitch shirts. You know what? I'm pretty sure the popular kid never existed. It was all subjective. But those popular kids always brought McDonald's to class after their doctor's appointment and blasted Taylor Swift. For Halloween, they would throw on their tiniest shorts and their dad's favorite polo shirt and put on a hat backwards and call that a frat boy costume. There was never one person that did that. It was always the 7th grade girls, specifically 7th grade. If you were part of that very exclusive club, you were pretty much the opposite. You desperately looked for an escape from the status quo because Becky wouldn't shut up about her current obsession with 5 seconds of summer. That escape for most people was classic rock. We started to look to the past as a better time, before cell phones, before the internet, back when everyone had a really cool fashion sense. God, isn't the past so cool? Everybody had cool friends. They'd always go bowling or roller skating because it was so cheap. Music and films were at the top of their game. I wish I grew up in a time like that. It seems like a lot of fun to grow up in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, right? Right? Not quite. If you're a human being on this planet and you breathe oxygen, 9 times out of 10, most things aren't sunshine and rainbows. Welcome to the 1920s. Enjoy some jazz, take your affordable car for a spin, and call up your friends from home. And if you're a woman, congrats! You just gained the right to vote. If you enjoy alcohol or are black, then I have some bad news for you. Remember your job? Me neither. It's fine. Okay, so maybe the Roaring 20s doesn't tickle your fancy. The 30s. Now sit with your family to listen to the radio for some quality entertainment. You can swing dance with your crush to some more energetic jazz music without a care in the world. Although, I suggest that you should care since now your family is in poverty and your dad can't find a job. Oops, guess you're eating bread for the next few weeks. Alright, third time's a charm. The 40s were the peak of swing dancing and saw a massive increase of women in the workforce, which hasn't happened in a long time. Be proud and fight for your country. Wait, fight? Yeah, sorry, half the graduating class of 1942 has been drafted for the war in Germany. Say bye to like half your friends. Also, I think something bad happened with the Jews and Asians during this time, so I don't think this decade was all that perfect either. The 50s. Come on, it's post-war America. A lot of you might like this decade because of its introduction to rock and roll. You can join your pals in going to sock hops and diners, wearing poodle skirts, and every guy you met knew how to treat a lady. Seriously, if you're above the age of 20 and not married, that's all your folks would talk about. Just hope your husband has a sustainable job with the white picket fence in the front yard. Let's hope you reach that point before the Cold War ends in catastrophe. How about the 60s? Surely the repealing of segregation in schools thanks to the civil rights movement will make everything better for every American. And there were like maybe a couple people who didn't like the current war in Vietnam, so they protested as well. I don't know, just a few. Not your style? I mean, you can try on this psychedelic pattern to impress or disappoint your parents with. Sorry, what's that? Your sister is having a bad acid trip at Woodstock? Well, at least she isn't a communist. Still, you got a race to the moon to look forward to. Thanks, Cold War. 70s. Let's see. Have some disco and bell bottoms? That war you were bickering about last decade? It ended. Basically everything I just told you during the 60s segment is just a copy and paste. The only difference is that you had to wait hours upon hours to fill your tank of gas. Just hope on your way up you don't run out of gas. Did anything really happen in this decade? Oh, thank God, it's the 80s. What could go wrong? Basically, family values reestablished in this decade. But if you do drugs, it's time to stop that since the war on drugs has begun. Don't worry, the closest thing to a war in this decade was a couple of really cheesy ads. Well, this guy just created a computer that can fit on your desk. Just, wait a while. It'll load in a few, minutes. Hey, if you want to travel in this decade, I'm sorry, but I highly suggest a condom. And a gun for self-defense. This brings me to the main point of the video. What makes good music? Like I said, it's all completely up to the listener. But just cause I like shoving this message down your throat, I will show you an example. Check this out. In this corner, we have Let There Be Rock, one of my favorite songs from AC/DC. It was released in 1977 on an album with the same name. It was the band's fourth album after Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap came out the previous year with mild success. Fourth time's a charm because apparently this album became the staple of AC/DC. It included songs that were fast-paced and full of intense, dirty hard rock. This album resulted in their popularity spreading worldwide. At its peak, it ranked in the top 20 of the UK and Australia in 1977. In this corner, we have a completely opposite opponent, Bad Guy, a song released by Billie Eilish just last year. It ranked at the top of the charts in the UK and Australia, like actual top. Personally, Billie Eilish isn't usually the type of music I listen to, but when I hear this song, I jam out to it. That rhythmic bass drum and that iconic bass line always gets me going, you know? They both really play into the playfulness and the edginess of the song. Obviously, the reason why it ranks so high is because it's way more unique than most things on the Billboard Top 100 these days, but nevertheless, I'm pretty sure people 40 years from now will remember this song very fondly. And even then, the charts don't need to tell you what's good or not. That just depends on your ears, your young ears. So you really think you live in the worst generation, huh? You know, the generation that has the internet, a place where you can look up any song from any country at any time. There are places where you can shop for any type of clothing you want from any era. I got this fancy 80s shirt from my local Ross for like 12 bucks. Amazon gives you the option of receiving those clothes 2 days from ordering it. I'm not even 20 yet, and I still remember I had to wait 2 weeks at least for a package to arrive. Just because things have been made more convenient thanks to the internet, just because your generation is spoiled as hell, you don't have to pay attention to those types of people. Everywhere you look, you're gonna find obnoxious teenagers that are just gonna spout whatever they want because they love that band so much. They love that video game so much. They love that movie so much. They can't stop talking about it. You remember the Twilight craze? The One Direction craze? Those are just teenagers being teenagers. There were teenage girls all the time in the 60s talking about Beatles all the time. I guarantee you that there were girls some time back then in the 60s that were like, you know, swing dancing music was so much better. I miss Benny Goodman. That was the good stuff. It's just how humans naturally are. When they find something that they're currently obsessed with, aka me, they're gonna share it with everybody. I guarantee that you can go outside right now and you can find people that are just obsessed with AC/DC or Queen or Van Halen or some other obscure band as much as you are. If you want to completely ditch social media and not even have a phone at all, go ahead. I embrace my vintage style because I have a spirit animal of a grandma. What I do have a problem with are people who shame others for liking pop, rap, country music. Stop hating them for liking what they like. Their ears are different from yours. Everybody's different. I'm tired of seeing comments on music videos, modern or not. Oh, today's music is trash. I hate my generation because they're not in control of what the music industry thinks we like. The music industry has always been a mess. It's always been extremely corrupted. Just like the film industry. We just have more bad press covering it. So what should you take away from this video? First, if I were you, I would open my mind to other genres of music around you. The only genre I used to listen to was classic rock, but now I've recently discovered that I really like lo-fi and I never thought I would. And the next time you see someone in the street shouting to the heavens that Pharrell Williams is the greatest musician of all time, first of all, pray for them. Second of all, you don't have to agree with them. They don't have to agree with you. Just go on your own way. It's a waste of time. Just be civilized and open-minded. Grow up from that phase. Another thing you could do is visit your family downstairs. Yeah, I see you through that screen. You're sitting on your bed watching this video. It's Thanksgiving. It's time to count your blessings and spend time with your family. Cook a turkey, break a wishbone, eat some pumpkin pie, play rock, paper, scissors with your sister. What do people do on Thanksgiving? Anyway, happy Thanksgiving to all of my fellow American viewers. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
It's the best day of my life. Oh my gosh.
He loves that chair. He loves that chair.
Look at him. Oh my gosh. I've been chosen.
Cut. 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 Cut.
What? I believe in reincarnation. You might want to do that. Oh, okay, that's where we're starting. Sorry.
Oh, we missed me. You were born in the 2004.
What the hell is that? What is that?
What's what? My phone?
Oh, typical. Sorry.
The splat.
Solid.